Yeah.
Right. Okay. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's session, Time Out with the Boss. My name is Julius Afolabi, as you all know me. And like you know, this is one of our premium initiatives within the Aftia ecosystem. And it's my honor and pleasure tonight to have one of Africa's brightest mind, a global sought after person to be sharing with us tonight. And it's my honor to welcome every one of you tonight for a special session. So if you can turn on your videos, fine. And if you are comfortable with enjoying the audio version while the video is off, fine too. So we'll kick off right away. But before I do that, I would, yes, Jab, thank you very much. Yes, I'm feeling the buzz in the chat box. Thank you very much. Before we go ahead, I'd like to read just a brief about our guest tonight. Thankfully, is a timely person, right? He's here with us already present, right? So I'd like to read just a little bio about our host, our guest for tonight, rather. And after that, I'll let him have the floor to tell us more about himself and his journey. Give us a talk about his journey and his professional practice. And now this can also enable us as professionals from different angles. I'd like to say to you, Mr. Victor Ekpo Bassey, that AFTIA is a collection of professionals from different disciplines. So it's like a supermarket of professionals from diverse backgrounds, mostly in the learning and development niche, in HR, leadership, business, IT, and project management. So all the professional practice that you can think about, we have a collection of them. And it's also spread across both Africa and we have some members in the UK. Some of them are already present, some from in South Africa and some in the United States of America. So, and we are a growing association. The association is going to be for this particular month. We are having our 4th anniversary on the 24th of June. It will be also awesome to have you present as well. So, but before we go on to tonight's session is going, I know that everybody is expectant, and this month we are talking about professionalism and performance, right? And that's the angle from which we are taking it tonight. The president is also here present. The president, I want to recognize the president of our presidents. Please, let's give her 555 in the chat box. Right. Thank you very much. So before we just jump right in, before we let our guest for tonight take the mic, right? Let me give you a short bio about him. Then when he comes up, he's going to tell us more about himself, his journey, his practice, and how that can do a lot of justice to what we are doing and how we can influence our world. So stay tuned while I read his bio. Victor Ekpo Bassey is a world-class performance consultant and the creator of the Community Mastery Method, a framework for empowering high achievers to create high level of influence in the marketplace, leverage it to attract the very best opportunities for achieving their personal and professional goals, and ultimately monetize it to produce multiple streams of consistent cash flow and monthly recurring income. As an emerging leader in the field of performance-based hypnotherapy, Victor heads the Rapid Results Clinic, a hypnotherapy clinic specializing on working with high performers to help them clear out unconscious block to success and get out of their own way so that they can achieve seemingly impossible goals. Victor's private clients include 3 African presidents, serial entrepreneurs, and a member of the British royal family. Victor is the founder of the Expert Business School, which I'm gladly a member of, where he provides a total support system for the next generation of experts who want to become world-class thought leaders and build widely successful practices that produce fantastic results, right, for their clients and enough income to fund their preferred lifestyle. So Victor is happily married to amazing Vivian Bassey and is blessed with 3 uber smart daughters. Can you hear that? 3 uber smart daughters. So that's just a brief about who Victor Ekpo Bassey is. And I can tell you that I got to know Victor Ekpo Bassey from one of my very close friends like that, Mr. Tunde Akinwumi. And when he told me about Victor Bassey, I was like, let me go and find out. But when I got there, I got stalked. And I can tell you for sure, I don't need to say much about him. We call him Sensi. He will tell us the meaning of Sensi when he comes. And I believe he's with his coffee. he has a cup of coffee there with him. So tonight, I'll let Mr. Victor Ekpo Bassey take the stage, as we know, for the next 15, 20 minutes. Then we're going to have a cross-section of questions and answers. If you have questions already, please, along the side of what he'll be sharing with us and along the side of your own professional practice where you think you can, you need to invest, insights and actionable strategies from him. Please, this time that we have, I beg all of you, maximize the time. Ask the questions that you have always wanted to ask a subject matter expert in this area. He has a wide range of experience. So join me and welcome Mr. Victor Ekpo Bassey. In the next 15, 25 minutes, he has the floor. Thank you very much, Sensei. Over to you. Let's give him 555 inside the chat box.
Yeah, I hear you guys. Thank you very much, Julius, for having me here. And After, thank you so very, very much. I've got 20 minutes, so I will not bore you with too many details. Probably when we're having that back and forth, you guys can ask as many questions as you want about maybe my personal life or any other stuff that you might want to do. But I think I'd like to get into some meat and potatoes, given the fact that where the world is right now, the economy of the world all over is just basically headed down. It will go down until it hits threshold, then it will start coming up again. The problem is that as it's going down, trading budgets are also going down with it. People's willingness to invest in themselves. It's ironic that it's when they need to invest in themselves the most that people tend to cut the budget on personal development and all of those kinds of things. So the question is, when we're living in times like this, what do we do? All right, what do we do? Because the truth of the matter is, some of us are going to have it really, 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 really hard. But there's some people that no matter what happens, come rain, come shine, the opportunities are just going to be consistent, okay? And I'm hoping that in the 20 minutes that I have to just basically share, and then of course, when we're having questions back and forth, I might be able to distill that for us. But I want to share some distinctions that hopefully would help us think better about what we are doing out there in the marketplace. But before I get into that, 2 major concepts that are very, very important. For every single one of us here, we need to understand this concept of what I refer to as the threshold of wealth. According to the World Bank, currently the threshold for wealth world over internationally, okay, is 150,000 US dollars, meaning that it's from 150,000 US dollars that they start to think of you as within the top 10% of people across the world who have resources. The threshold of poverty for a family of 4 is 32,000 US dollars. And for any person who is single, okay, You're single, you're your own, you're just responsible for yourself. Threshold of poverty is 15,000 US dollars a year. Now, these numbers are very important because in our space, most people earn lower than 50,000 US dollars a year. And I'm not just talking about those of us in Nigeria. For most people in Nigeria, a lot of people don't even reach the 2030. Across the world, most people in our fields never do above 47,000 US dollars. And the reason why, the primary reason why is because we come at this with a very, very funny mindset. Okay. I've been in this space and I've seen people label themselves as coaches. I've seen people label themselves as trainers and facilitators and all of that. But those identities, the very fact that we stay inside of those identities and lock ourselves inside of those identities, they're the reason why we lock ourselves away from opportunities that would help us cross the threshold. And make no mistake, crossing that threshold is important because until you are above that, okay, until you are above that, you're not actually considered as a business across the world. In the UK, until you're above 80,000 pounds in revenue, they don't consider you a business. And the equivalent of that in the US. So, I mean, okay, so it's important because out there, there are people with all kinds of agendas. Every single one of us, we have individual agendas, but how do you compete with someone who is talking absolute nonsense, is ruining people's lives, but has a budget for ads of 10,000 US dollars a day? How do you compete? Okay, so it's important for us to get above this threshold so that we can start to do that. And in order for us to do that, we need to understand that our job in this space is to think, to sell, and deliver. That's it. You do the thinking, you do the selling, you do the delivery. If you do these three things well, you're basically recession proof. You are economy proof, more or less. So the question is, how do you do that? Well, let's talk about the thinking first. Every single one of us here, to a very large extent, the way we approach the markets, we put ourselves in a situation where we are easily, very, very easily commoditized. In other words, unless you have a very strong relationship with your client, it is very, very likely that they can replace you with another trainer, they can replace you with another facilitator. It's a terrible place to be. All right. So what we need to do is start to rethink the way we look at ourselves in the marketplace and start to create a toll gate position for ourselves. In other words, when people think about their future, you are the gates that they have to pass through to move from here to the future that they have for themselves. And the way for you to do that is to reorganize your intellectual property. And you can't do that if you're thinking of yourself just as a trainer or as a facilitator. Okay, you've got to think of yourself as an entrepreneur who has expertise that can be delivered as a speaker, as an author, as a trainer, as a mentor, as a facilitator, as a coach, as a service, as retail products, as brand products, all of that from intellectual property. And this intellectual property that I'm talking about cannot come from the market. We are not information marketers. All right. We're not one of those people, although some of us might be, we're not one of those people that will just package information and then look for somebody who is willing to be gullible enough to buy it and we just throw it at them. No. Every single person here, to a very large extent, will be somebody who wants to make a difference, who wants to make a difference in people's lives, who actually wants to be involved in actually transforming people's lives. So that means that whatever it is that you're selling in the marketplace, no matter what your expertise is, the basis for that intellectual property has to be your values. Okay. Now, this is very, very important. When you're running a regular business, they tell you that you have to niche. You have to understand what your niche is and then narrow down to a niche and all of that. And for a business, that is great. When you're offering products like this, that's great. But when what you are selling is yourself, that advice will burn you out faster than anything else. You will get tired, you will get frustrated, you feel like you're boxed up in something and that you're not actually free. So we can't come from the place of market. What we have to do is come from a place of message. And that place of message has to be locked in our most predominant values. Okay, so when you think about yourself, what's the most important thing to you in life, in the marketplace? What are you really obsessed about? What's really important for you? So for me, it's power. And when I talk about power, it's about the ability to produce any kind of result that I want when I want to produce that result. And so, because that's what's really important for me, that is what determines, that is what colors the way I message. So if I walk into an organization and I am doing something in the space of emotional intelligence, it's mainly about being intelligent enough to be in control of your results. If I'm doing something in the space of customer service, it's primarily about being in control of yourself enough to produce any result with any customer, irrespective of how they feel about the organization. Okay, but that messaging starts to differentiate me from every other person out there in the marketplace. That's one thing. Now, when you decode or break down your highest value, so in my own case, power, for instance, if you take that and you break it down and say, okay, look, what makes up power? And I say, okay, for me, power is a function of mastery, what I know. It's a function of relationships. It's a function of money. It's a function of systems. It's a function of me being able to manage my mind and emotions. Okay, so I take these 5 things that are linked to my personal values, all right, and I bring them to the marketplace. And instead of talking about mastery, I say get good. Instead of talking about relationships, I say get known. Instead of talking about just money, I say get paid. Instead of talking about systems, I say get assets. Instead of talking about managing my mind and all of that, I said set myself up for performance. And I call these 5 things the community mastery method. And because I stand on the community mastery method, that now becomes my toll gate position for other people. So, Genga, please mute yourself so that we can all have a great listening experience. Thanks. So that now becomes where I stand, okay? And so because of this, I can step into the relationship markets, I can step into the leadership space, I can step into the sales space, I can step into business executives. I'm relevant in multiple different fields, but I am a monopoly. It's a toll gate position. And so I can claim to be the world's leading expert in the community mastery method. Fun story. A few years ago, I was invited to do something for an organization in Dubai. I was invited, Brian Tracy was invited, and then there were the people who were locals there, really big consultants who were locals. Brian Tracy did 2 sessions. He left with, I think it was about, back then it was 75,000 US dollars for the 2 sessions. I did 3 sessions. I left with 25,000 US dollars. But the locals who were doing 8, 9 sessions a day for 5 days, most of them went home with 10,000. Why? They are consultants. Brian Tracy is the world's leading expert in sales and entrepreneurship. I am the world's leading expert in the community mastery method. But these people have been in this space. They can run circles around me on most of the things that I talk about. So that's where I am coming from. If we just take care of our thinking, organize our stuff to make something that is unique, that is based on our values, then a lot starts to change for us. Okay, there are quite a lot of stuff that I can share about thinking, but maybe in the Q&A, I'll break that down. But let me jump into the selling part. All right. I believe that outside of your intellectual property, the second most important assets that every single one of us here needs to have is our own crowd. Back when I started out, they used to tell me, you need a platform, you need a platform, you need a platform. I never understood until I got the idea that a platform is a tribe of people who know you, like you, and trust you. A tribe of people who are 100% obsessed about the things that you're bringing to the table. Now, here's the funny thing. When I say tribe, people just think about a mass of people with a common interest. What I need to actually express to us is this thing that I call tribe is actually the real proper name for it would be a religious cult. So that's the idea I want you guys to have, because it's not about you just bringing random human beings together as followers on Facebook. You want a group of people who have bought into an ideology, that organized intellectual property that you have put together. You want a group of people who have bought into that way of thinking and use that to define where they are going to, how they are going to approach their future, how they are going to approach their relationships, how they are going to think about every single thing in their lives in relation to the future that you have placed in front of them. That's what you really, really want. But you can't do that if you haven't done the first work of the thinking. And ironically, for any particular body of work at all, it takes just 52 core ideas. If you break down law, it's 52 core ideas. You break down, medicine, it's 52 core ideas. You break down accounting, it's 52 core ideas. You go into any ideology that people have bought into, it's still 52 core ideas. Christianity can be broken down to 52 core ideas. Islam, 52 core ideas. Confucianism, 52 core ideas. All of this is there. So if you break something down like that and build it like that and start teaching it, and people start to buy into that, those are the kinds of followers that you need. Those are the kinds of people that you want on your side, because when you stay there with them and teach them your methodology and they buy into it, you create something that is far, 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 far stronger and more sustainable than the so-called personal brand. Because let me tell you something about the personal brand. Every single person that is building a brand that is based on themselves is vulnerable to their humanity. It's as simple as that. There's no escaping it. The personal brand, will it bring you lots of opportunities? Yes. Will it open doors for you? Yes. Will it build a big business for you? Yes. But will those businesses, those opportunities, those doors, will they survive your humanity? When something happens that is a character flaw, especially in this age where everybody's canceled for just the smallest thing. I heard the other day that a woman is facing jail time because she said trans women are not women. No, don't get me wrong. I have no problems with that, but it's the world that we live in, okay, where we're supposed to have rights, we're supposed to have opinions, but your opinions are only relevant until so and so line. Okay, so what we actually want is that kind of community behind us, and you don't want to be their leader, you want to be their teacher, you want to be their guide. Because if you are their guide and they are following you as a guide, they can recognize your humanity. And so when you fall, as invariably you will, because you're a human being, when you make mistakes, as invariably you will as a human being, what generally happens is that your people will rally around you because they recognize you as one of them, as a human being. But when you're this almighty personal brand, guess what? You will pay for the trauma that you have caused all these people by losing every single thing that they are given to you whilst you were still perfect. And coming back from that is incredibly hard. So having that tribe behind you is incredibly powerful. Now, if you're not at 10,000 US dollars a month and you're building this online, leveraging the internet and all of that, fantastic. But don't buy into this rubbish. People talk about funnels and all of that. If you're not at 10,000 consistently, it means there are questions about your market that you don't understand yet. And if there are questions about your market that you don't understand yet, how are you going to lead people through a process of buying? You really can't do that. So what really matters below 10,000 US dollars a month, as the case may be, is conversations. It's conversations. And when you have a tribe of people who know, like, and trust you, conversations becomes very, 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 very easy to have. Hey, Terry. Hi. Thank you for muting. All right. So conversations become very, 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 very easy for you to have. And these conversations is usually about three basic things. And the reason why it's about these three basic things is because we want conversations that deliver value. People use this word value a lot. What is value? Most times people can't really say, okay? But value is when you are able to provide three things for people. You're able to provide them with clarity, you're able to provide them with confidence, and you're able to provide them with capability. When you have these three things together, you say you have, people feel like you have provided value. You walk into an organization and you're working with the organization and you provide them with clarity concerning the future. You give them a sense of confidence that they'll be able to get from point A to point B, and you give them the capability to do that. They will bring you back because that is valuable. So we want to be able to have conversations that demonstrate that to our people. And when we do that, because you need to understand that every organization, every human being looks at the future with a sense of fear, with a sense of uncertainty. We feel like we're alone. We feel like we are incapable, especially if we have really, really big dreams. All right. And when you have somebody that is able to turn your confusion to clarity, is able to turn your seemingly sense of inability to a strong sense of capability, and the confidence that they have comes from their relationship with you. You have locked down that person in their heads. You own real estate in their heads. They can't really go anywhere. And when you start to think from that point of view, you build relationships in the marketplace that protect you for life. You are no longer just a trainer. You're no longer just a facilitator. You're a strategic advisor relevant to the future of this organization or this individual. Very important. Again, questions about the sales side of things, I'm open to answering them, but let's jump into the delivery side of things so that in my, I think I have about 3-4 minutes before my 20 minutes is up. All right, so when it comes to delivery, look, there are over 58 different profit centers. Oga Shegun James and Harrison, no, not Harrison. Shegun, please mute yourself. Thank you very much. So there are over 58 different ways that you can deliver whatever expertise that you have, but we can break them down to, you're either telling somebody something, you're showing them something, or you're asking them something. End of story. Really isn't any other thing there. You're telling them something, you're asking them something, or you're telling them something. But it's not how you deliver per se that is the issue. In crossing the threshold, the most important thing are your price points. Okay. And it's a conversation I want to have with us because there are price points that get you across that threshold really, really fast. And there are price points that hold you back. And it really doesn't matter what's happening in the economy because look, people are spending money. People without money are spending money. The whole thing is we need to understand that this thing that you want them to spend on is valuable. In other words, it's relevant to the future, gives them clarity about that future, gives them confidence about that future, gives them capability about that future. If someone is like right now in Nigeria where I live, the current situation has put a lot of people under a lot of duress, especially those whose incomes are capped. And so they're looking for answers, but they have been burnt many times by people who say, oh, I'm going to help you do this and this. They've been burnt by all kinds of scams and all of that. So people are wary. Okay. But if you think about it, it's the exact same kind of situation and mood and overall state of things that people are feeling now. It's exactly the same as what happened in 2020. The anxiety, the fear, all of that is there. And so for us, this is not the time for us to hold back. This is the time for us to show up for people. And by delivering, by consistently going out there and speaking and authoring and training and mentoring and facilitating and coaching, for free and also for paid, because delivery is also a very, very powerful form of marketing. When you demonstrate the fact that you can help somebody by helping them, it's easy for the person to now want to invest in themselves through you. Okay, so to wrap things up, if there was anything at all I wanted you guys to take away from what I have shared so far, is that, look, if you do the work on your intellectual property, okay, in every field there's leverage. I don't know why we think that in our own there can be leverage. In business, they say you produce once, you duplicate, and you sell often. Why don't you just sit down, really, really do the thinking once, and then leverage it in 1,001 multiple different ways? I took the time, and I'm still evolving it, to develop the community mastery method just once. And I'm in the relationship space, I'm in the organizational space, I'm in the leadership space, I'm in the health and wellness space, all of that, just this one thing that I've really, really sat down to think out. So if we do that, if we take the time out to think, if we take the time out to sell well, if we take the time out to deliver well, I think we will protect ourselves and make a whole lot of difference out there in the market. So guys, thank you very, 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 very much.
Wow, 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 wow.
Wow, wow, wow. I had to unmute and say that. Wow.
You're very kind.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sensei. We're already having claps from there. Well, because I am the moderator here, I would have the liberty to ask my questions first before I'll get questions from others to ask. Yes, I'll tell you for free, you guys for free, that I attended, it used to be a brand acceleration workshop, but it's been metamorphosed, improved into Tribecraft. Am I correct, Sensi?
Yeah.
Yes. So I attended Tribecraft. I didn't actually know how to put my expertise together. You understand? And it was really a wonderful session I have. So my question is this for you, Sensi. In this community, we are, like I said before, we are a bank of intellectuals. I don't have the avalanche of screenshotting people's CVs for you here. But the truth is that sometimes you find out that the resourceful is not actually resourceful, right? There can be a very wide gap between your professionalism and your prosperity.
Yeah.
How do we actually close this gap? Because I believe this is an answer and a question in quite a number of us minds. You can be intellectually robust, but then you can be financially bankrupt because you can't just close the gap, just like you've mentioned. And that's, I think, professionalism should be able to profile us as prosperous people as well. So I like it to just take us through into maybe a simple step guide into how we can close this gap, how we can close this gap between our professionalism and our prosperity.
Well, there's no one single answer, because what's going to happen is that the things that hold people back are different, okay, from person to person. But I do know that one of the major things that will hold people back is fear of one form or the other. And this fear does not necessarily come from our lack of ability, okay? Because most people here are very, very well credentialed. And I think if I looked at, like you said, looked at some of your CVs, then it would be a very, 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 very miraculous thing indeed. But letting go of the fear of what people are going to think if you tried something new, the fear of the judgment of your colleagues if you stepped out of the regular way of doing things and started doing things differently. It's a major thing that holds people back. I have a client of mine. Some of you might know him, some of you might not know him, Dr. Malik. He runs, he's like
YouTube.
Yes, he is really, really good with the whole YouTube thing. But when he started out newly, there were times when this young man would literally cry. Why? Because the top people in the field, in the medical field, said that he was embarrassing the community and that he should stop. So he was embarrassing the community, he should stop. And there were times when he came really, 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 really close. And this thing that we're talking about now, letting go of this fear of other people's judgments, if he didn't let that go, it would have held him back, and Dr. Malik would not be where he is today. And the irony about letting go of fear, it's not that you don't feel the fear, it's that you realize that some things are more important than the fear. And if we just keep that at the back of our minds, it gives us the momentum to be able to take the actions that are necessary. Okay, so that's one thing. As far as that internal conflict is concerned, if we manage our fear and make certain things, our goals, our dreams, our values, and all of that more important than the fear, it starts to deal with things. Second thing that is very, very important is the business model that a lot of us have been introduced to. For a lot of the people that I have met in the training space, this is what it looks like. Send a proposal, have somebody on the inside that can lobby for you, split the proceeds with whoever it is that you need to split the proceeds with, get the job, look for the next one. Okay, and that's like typically the model, okay? And it's hard. It's really, 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 really hard, especially when you're trying to break into spaces that have already been locked down by organizational cabals. It gets really, 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 really hard. But the reason why it's that difficult is because what you've been taught to do is not in times with, not just with what's possible in today's world, but also with you as an individual. When I started out, one of the things that I said I wasn't going to do because it was just ridiculous was to send out proposals. I've always believed that a proposal is the last thing you do after a conversation. It's not the first. You have the conversation first, figure out what the deal is, then you send the proposal.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Right.
I
So
learned that the hard way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to do that. But when I said I wasn't going to do that, people told me that I wasn't going to make any money because according to them, all the money is in corporate. And so if I want the big chunks of cash, it has to be from corporate. Individuals will not give you that amount of money. But after 25 plus years of doing this, I can tell you very, very frank and for free that it's not true. Okay, so having the audacity to take your knowledge, your expertise, and that's what entrepreneurship is. Jean-Henri Fabre, no Henry Fabre, I've forgotten his name now, but he's a French economist, and he coined the word entrepreneur. The very first time the word entrepreneur was coined, he coined it, but his definition is what I like, okay? His definition is that entrepreneurship, an entrepreneur rather, is someone who takes resources for areas of low productivity to areas of higher productivity. All right. So something isn't giving you as much value here. You just repurpose it for this other side. There's a guy I know who is a forensic accountant.
You said repurpose it.
Repurpose it. Yeah. Repurpose it. So there's a guy I know who is a forensic accountant. I never knew there was such a thing until I met this guy. And he was always going for certifications. Always going for certifications. Why? Because he wanted to be qualified enough to be able to serve the really, really big organizations. But for some strange reason, they never got around to hiring him. Never. So we had this conversation and I was like, look, here in Lagos, there are serious companies that cannot afford accountants, but they have bookkeepers. But these bookkeepers have to be kept up to speed with the latest principles and all of that. Why don't you meet these people and offered to do some kind of brain trust where once a month, all of their accountants come together and they learn the best practices for that particular month, and they go back and they deploy it in their stuff. This guy reaches out to his friends. He's willing to do it for 50,000 naira a month for each of this. He signs up 10 people, 500,000 naira, poof, from someone who was struggling to put money down to buy airtime at a cyber cafe. Did his knowledge change? No, he just simply repurposed it. And that's what entrepreneurship is about. That's what it means to be commercially smart. But in order for you to do that, you have to be willing to let go of judgment, because when other forensic accountants heard it, they laughed, they mocked him. They mocked him when he was doing 500,000. They mocked him when he was doing 1 million, but they stopped laughing when he crossed 5 million a month. All right. But that judgment is what holds people back, and him being willing to step out of the model that he has been learning for quite a while. Another thing I think that we need to get out of is locking down the idea for recurring income as fast as possible. And it's not really that complicated, because in order for us to do it, we have to diversify our revenue. Every single person here should be making money as a speaker, as an accountant, sorry, as a speaker, as an author. And when I'm talking about authoring, I'm talking about not just books, but packaged information products, the videos, the audios, the online courses, all of those kinds of things. Every person here, we have knowledge, we have whatever, that if we just redeployed it to a market, it would sort a lot of problems for us for life. I have a friend of mine, Emeka Nubis, that used to be an engineer. Okay, left his job, got on social media, and for the longest period of time, never thought that his knowledge of social media was anything to write home about. Then one day, just out of a whim, he creates this program that talks about how to build a social media following. All right.
How to go viral with social media.
Yeah. And has he really gone viral? Just twice. But all he's doing is just saying, this is what I did. Okay, if it works for you, thank God. If it doesn't, well, it worked for me. That's the sum and substance of what this guy, it's very authentic, it's very whatever, but he brings a lot of substance and reality to the table for what he does. 5,000 plus sales later, within the course of 2 years, over 10 million naira brought in. One course. Now, he could have stayed locked in one particular thing. Why? Because, oh, I am such and such and such a person. What will people say if they see me selling this 5,000 naira thing, this 2,000 naira thing, this 5,000 naira thing, this 10-pound thing, this $15 thing? What would people say? Judgment. But he stepped out of that, and all is well. Okay, so for every single one of us, if you want to bridge that gap, you have to start thinking properly as an entrepreneur. In other words, look, if this knowledge that I have here isn't producing high, where else can I take this same thing and get a higher level of reward for it? And if you really sit down and think about it, there's so many things that you know of that can hit the market in ways, and even if it's not as wildly successful as Emeka's program, it can take care of your bills. It can take care of your overheads. It can take care of quite a number of the things that, I mean, there's nobody here that an extra 3,000 pounds or an extra $2,000 would not make a difference in. There's nobody here.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So
I think
that's what I'm talking about.
I'll open the floor.
Julius, you muted yourself.
Oh, sorry. I'll open the floor for members to ask their questions directly. So if you've got a question, please just let me know with a show of hand, and then I'll call you out and then you can unmute and then you can go ahead directly and have that. Okay, Jab, your hand is already up. Please go ahead. Please unmute.
I love that name.
Yes,
Boom.
Jab.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Wow, it's a pleasure to finally connect a face to the name. I've actually heard your name proud to now.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I've heard your name proud to now. So good to see you on our platform. So it's not so much of a question, but just to say, I've gained a lot from your session, and thank you. Thank you. So and then can you signpost me to where I can get more of your resources? Because you talk about information, product and stuff. So is there like your website or something up, your books or anything? So you could just drop it in the chat room. I would so much love to, tap more. I mean, this 20 minutes is definitely not enough. It's just the tip of the iceberg. So, yeah. So I need to get more. And then I probably would just say it looks like you're in the spirit, because a mentor told me a few years back that, guy, why are you struggling? Like, just productize your service, because I do training and stuff, project management training. Just productize your service. So I just woke up and said, okay, yeah. So you're talking about 15 pounds product, 10 pounds, 5,000. So that's basically it. Like, I need to get more tips and aim to say, okay, you know what, not giving up all these card games, audio learning suits, book here. How do you consolidate? How do you keep going? How do you, and then, so hopefully, you're speaking 2 years from now, and you can be able to say, oh yeah, one of my, downliners or someone, started off, just the way you're giving stories of, people, so now doing 10 million, 10,000 products. So I want to, so basically, thank you again. Thank you so much. Yeah.
No problem. Thank you. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm putting together a series of resources that will take this a bit further for each and every single one of us. So I'll send the link through Julius. There's 2 sides to it. There's an entire body of resources that will help you dig deeper. Those ones are completely free. I've got like a ton resources that you guys can really binge in. But for those of you that would like to take this further, 2 things I would recommend. First of all, would be to be a part of Tribecraft. Okay, Tribecraft basically gives you every single thing that you need in order for you to implement what I am talking about now. Okay, gives you a plan, and it's ridiculously low cost at this particular point in time. I think it's the equivalent of about $47 or 25,000 naira, as the case may be. So you do that, but you also have access to these monthly private sessions with me as a group, or whoever it is that chooses to show up for it over the course of a year. So that gets you up and running. For those that want to collapse time for themselves, I'll just say, let's have a conversation and talk about Experts Business School. I think you'll absolutely love that. So that's just it. But I'll send that through Julius. Thanks.
All right, then. Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Who's up next? Who is up next? Who has another question?
Can I just go?
Okay. All right. Uzoma.
Uzoma, don't stampede me.
Oh, what did I do?
I didn't see Jab. I didn't see your hand.
Somebody's hand up already. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh yeah, go. No.
Don't give you fast lane.
Ladies first, after men.
All right,
Mr. Dapo, don't let me repurpose you this evening.
Move. Okay, go ahead. I want to be compelling. Go ahead.
Okay, right. So I actually just wanted to confirm something, okay? Just from what Jab said and from what on that name, Sensei, Omo. Jab shared the meaning of it. That's a cool one. Yeah, so I just wanted to confirm the being a part of the Tribecraft.
Yeah.
So can you just quickly? You said it's like about $47, which is like
25,000 naira. Yeah.
So what duration is that? Is that like membership or what?
So
what does it cover?
So it's basically like an entry into my world, I send emails, but the only people I email are basically people who have invested in themselves through me. So what Thrivecraft basically does is, I used to run it as a live workshop.
Mhm.
All right. I used to run it as a live workshop, but after a while, just basically put it together. All the recordings for the workshop, just basically put it together so that people can step into it and not be locked in terms of time. So once you make your 25,000 naira investment in that, you're given access to it, every single thing. Now, where I am adding as support is, I know that a lot of the ideas are new. It will challenge your current thinking about the way you're thinking about thinking about what you're doing. And implementing is where the real thing is. So what I offer is, every single month, for whoever it is that is interested, once you've gotten Thrivecraft, I show up live, okay, on Zoom inside of the platform. So you come in and I just help you customize results, and that runs for a year.
Okay, I think that's what I would just wanted to hear.
Yeah,
so it's like a
runs for-
yearly thing.
Yeah, so it
That the
just runs
payment
for,
covers. Okay.
yeah, the 25,000 covers that, okay?
Okay.
But yeah, so if that basically means that pretty much anybody at any particular level at all can get access to help and support, especially when it means moving from 0 to your first 10K, because Thrivecraft will do that for you.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. D, over to you.
Yes. So Dapo, go ahead.
Thank you, thank you. I really appreciate the session. It's quite eye-opening, and of course, it promises to be financially rewarding, which is very key. And I concur with Julius that most of our productivity are not matched with income. All right, you have much resources than the income you're getting. So my question, without wasting too much time, is that almost all the things you talked about, I can almost say everybody here has a capacity for all those things. Okay, you can make courses, you train, you facilitate, and all that. So is there a point where, as a professional who can see from quite a distance, can say you are putting too much together at the same time?
Yes.
Is there the possibility of putting too much together? Because I'm talking from the point of my experience. I was watching a lot of YouTube videos and I got frozen. I got so much information that I was frozen. I couldn't even, I couldn't make any move. So much information.
Overload.
Information overload, and my juices started burning out. Okay. Yeah. So professionally, what would be your advice? I wouldn't.
You need four kinds of products.
Of we should assess with money, but yeah.
You need four.
Four, yeah. I'm open. Okay.
That's all. You need four kinds of products. So when it comes to products, you need to understand that fundamentally they can be divided into two categories: products that get you known, products that get you paid. Two categories. You need both. All right. So when it comes to products that get you paid, I usually, for people like us, I usually recommend only two kinds: either a book or a workshop. The reason why is because these two things give you scale. There are things that you can provide at a low cost to bring people in. You can provide a low-cost workshop at a corporate level. You can bring it to the public level. You can write a book and it's available for corporate and it's available for whatever. But it's not the product itself that is the issue. It's what happens at the back of the product. So you have to be thinking in terms of the journey you want to take your entire customer through. That's the most important thing. The purpose of every business, whether it's a practice or a movement-based enterprise, as the case may be, is to create and keep.
Absolutely.
It's to create it, keep it, keep him or her. Yes, just keep them. All right. And so you want a way for them to come in, but it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody who's going to work with you is going to come in from the low ticket point. People come in at every single level. It's a function of what you place in front of them. But I'm just saying that in order for people to get to experience you, these two things, when you're beginning, give you a lot of leverage. And me personally, I would go with the workshop first, do the workshop for a while, get used to producing results with the workshop, and then record the workshop, send it to otter.ai, have it transcribed, send it to somebody to edit it, give it a cover, and you have your book. So now you have the book, you have the workshop, and they're out there basically producing that for that. The record for most of the people I work with is that's usually done, as in from workshop to book, usually takes about 4 days. All right, and you're out there in the market. So that gets people coming to you. So that is one. All right. Second thing that you need is your core program. The major thing that is like your bread and butter, the main thing that is bringing in the money. So for some of us here, it might be our training. For others, it might be coaching. For others, it could be an event that you're hosting, whatever it is, but you need a main thing that is bringing in money. And that thing that is bringing in money should be something that you're selling for $3,000 and above. Why? Because you have to cross the threshold very, 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 very fast. So you're talking about a total solution. This thing that you are selling to people, that is the core thing that you're offering, it's a total solution. It's not one of those things that people are going to come, they buy, and then in the middle of it, you're like, so you see this particular thing, you now need this other small thing to add to it in order for it to be complete. They now add that thing, you're like, oh, by the way, you see this other one that is out here, you have to add this one to it. No, we want a complete solution that you're charging people for. So in order for you to get that, you have to think before somebody comes to you and after somebody leaves you, what can you do with that entire journey to make sure that you're providing a one-stop solution for someone? So now you have these two kind of programs. You need something that provides for your lifestyle, and more often than not, working one-on-one with people is one of those things that does that. Your core program and working one-on-one with people kind of like does that. So when I'm working one-on-one with people, it's $50,000 US. How many $50,000 US people do I need in order for me to live a quality lifestyle? All right.
85.
Right now, I've got 8 clients at that particular level and a waiting list. Okay. If that was all I did for the rest of my life, I'm good. Okay. But that takes care of lifestyle. All right. It means that I can travel where I want. My kids can school where they want. If I want to go anywhere, I can go anywhere. So those two products take care of that. But you also need something that provides you with regular recurring revenue income, so that you're not starting so that you're not starting from scratch every single month. I don't care if that regular recurring income is $1,000 or $500. It's something that you know is going to come in guaranteed, and so you can plan. All right, so you need that. So those 4 kinds of products, that's like really, really all that you need to have in place. So it takes care of pretty much all of the levels. But the thing that anchors all of them, because you're not creating these products at random. The thing that anchors them is your intellectual property, that body of work that you have created. Okay, that body of work that you have created is what does that. What's the joke? What have I missing out?
No, don't worry. Something's happening in the chat box.
Sorry, I wanted to just ask if you can cut small soup for me, but I'm so sorry. I don't know.
This is
I've been dealing with the wrong set of clients.
All right, guys.
He's
waking himself up.
Just like I promised that we're going to have a very exceptional session. You see, the first time I met Victor Bassey, and Victor Bassey told me that the small products that I should be making is $3,500. I had to stop and think again. Yeah, what is this guy talking about here? You understand? That was exactly how it was like. I struggled with that thinking for a long time, for close to like 9 months. I was struggling with that, as in, what are you talking about? In this
Honestly, it's
Nigeria.
making me feel like I've been sleeping all the time. And it's painful at the same time.
So the sincere truth is this, that okay, President's Ask is up, but then already I know very well that it is the client attraction system that I wanted Victor Bassey to unpack for us. Because I tell you the truth, if we're talking about $5,000, right? You have to have a very, lit client attraction system, right? There has to be a point and kill protocol that makes that happen. And it has that.
Thank you.
I will tell you, like,
so.
yes, it has that. Eh? No, if it is that, Sensi has that. It has that point and kill system. So I don't know. While I allow Presido to ask a question, so you're still going to answer that for us, right?
Point and kill.
Yes. All right. So please, Presido, please unmute and go ahead, man.
Okay, so Sensei, thank you very much for honoring us with your presence and your wealth of knowledge. I need to first appreciate that. And thank you, Jab, for sharing the meaning. They harassed me, my two little children of Spinjitzu and all these things. They always harass me with Sensei. So I know that he has to be a master of masters, you know, and you haven't disappointed us. Thank you so very much.
Thank you too.
Now, you have touched a lot of nerves, you know, tonight. And I'm telling you, you've touched a lot of nerves. And I hope we can keep the fire burning. You know, that's the thing about engagement and post-engagements and, you know, just getting people up there and being able to sustain, like you said, create, sustain, and all that. So I'm not asking questions particularly. I'm going to I want to push this further. And we have a program coming. I don't know how we can explore the possibility of you know, having a talk time, if it's possible. I mean, you see, you know why everybody is amazed? This figure, I did like this. When you were talking at some point, I'm like, okay, you know what, Jab, all this are going for engagement, and we are, in fact, I know Jab has left our realm. I know where he is now. So, you know, we know, and somebody sent me a request yesterday, is asking for me to develop content for a one-day session that you're just going to pay me to facilitate. Each time I say, but for the content, they are not paying you. So we see a lot of that. And a lot of the times, we try to give the best value that we can, but I've also learned to give as you pay me, you know. So I
think the internet just
okay. Yes. Yeah. So I think you pick up from that when you can go ahead.
Okay,
and
so while
answer
she's
my question
point
when
and
she
kill
come back.
system.
Yes, but
that is the most ironic thing I've ever heard.
Jay, question again.
So, there is no point and kill system.
No.
There's no point and kill system, but there are. Okay, so let me break this for us. We need to understand, first of all, that all this big money that I am calling right now, what makes it possible for people to pay you is how you're positioned in their heads. Okay? If a person does not think you are worth that amount or that you're speaking jazz, there is no magic.
Forget it.
It's not going to happen. All right? But that's where it ends. Okay, because there isn't any gimmick to it. So you see that thing I keep telling you guys about organizing your intellectual property and helping people have a roadmap from point A to point B. What happens for us as trainers and consultants is that when we go to tell people about what we are going to do, the people don't understand. But shall we need training? And it is Julius that we know. So Julius, can you do something for us? That's typically the way it would come across. But the moment you have this thing that I refer to as a solution frame that distinctly tells a person very clearly, this is what I'm going to do for you, guaranteed. This is how it's going to be done, no stories. I have a lot of people who come to me and tell me that, okay, they're going to help people with their mindsets. I'm like, okay, you're going to help me with my mindset. Fantastic. What's going to be the result of that? They say, you start having a growth mindset. You start thinking positively. And I'm like, I can go to church and it will be cheaper. I will be positive at the end of a service. So what exactly are you talking about? Yeah, true. It's cheaper. Okay. And then the person gets stuck. Then I now like, okay, free the person a little bit. I'm like, okay, so how exactly are you going to do it? And the person tells me to think positively. I'm like, how? How? In the midst of every single thing that is happening to me right now, I just lost my mother. My father is with prostate cancer. He's on his deathbed. My wife is about to leave me. How? And the person has no clue.
Oh my God.
Because it's just what to say that they say. And so when you tell them to guarantee results, it's a problem because you don't really know what you're delivering. And so how can you ask someone to pay you for that? Then when they come to me, they're like, Victor, this thing that I'm giving to you, are you sure it will work? And I'm like, yes. But they expect when they spend money, most of us, when we're spending money, we expect results. We expect those results to be guaranteed. But if we flip it, we're afraid to guarantee, give people the same amount of guarantee that we expect them to give us. And you see that gap? It's the reason why we don't get paid. All right. So if you have that sorted and you've mapped it all out and it's a transformational experience for people, it's guaranteed, it's an environment that you put people in, and you know that these results for sure are going to be delivered, then it's a no-brainer. There's a lady that I think, Julius, you remember, Jida, May Jida. So she was in your sets. Jida used to be a counselor, and it was very, very difficult. Very, 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 very difficult for her to get 10,000 naira for someone to be in a counseling session with her. 90 days with her used to be 30,000 naira. Why? She was saying that she was going to help married people develop intimacy. Beautiful. How? What does that mean? So what we did was we flipped it. What's the biggest cause of no intimacy within a marriage? It's quarrels. Jida, can you end quarreling between couples so that they never quarrel again after spending time with you? Jida said, yes. I said, fine. How would you do it? So we mapped out the entire process, and she now had something that was clear that people could see would deliver the results. The very first person that she talked to put down 900,000 naira, from 30,000 naira to 900,000 naira. The difference was her ability to be clear on what she was delivering and to guarantee that I can do it. That's all. Jida now is a whole other kind of animal, but it's that. So once you have that and you have the ability to have an enrolling conversation with people, there's no funnel here, just that conversation about the person's future and how you fit in that future, and you deliver. That's really, really all there is to it. It might sound like I am oversimplifying things, but until you're at 10,000, that's really all. that you need. That's like all. Okay, so Esther's back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Presido, please go ahead from where.
Apologies. Yes. So I was so engrossed in the session, I did not connect my my laptop to the power source. That was what happened. So sorry. Okay. So I was just saying that I have also learned to just give in terms of content, so I wouldn't overstress myself. So I now do more of when I'm in the session, I deliver whatever is in there. I do the slides, minimally, and then go in there to deliver. However, it's not going to take me to the $3,000 level that you talked about. So we definitely, I know we need more. I know I need more. And I know a lot of people need more. So my proposition, and I know that Julius can take this further with you in a conversation, since you are based in Lagos, is to please plan to have some talk time, at our, because also the theme of our program is the future ready facilitator and trainer, and it is just so spiritual as far as I'm concerned, because you mentioned from yesterday, a lot of things have been crossing my mind. I thought about the COVID era, and if you have people that are like-minded, you realize that, even though it's not directly the same, but the situation is pushing us to that point where, people, today I was telling people how that, I was joking during COVID that I have an 8-year-old daughter, because my mom is from Adamawa. Anybody that has yam and potato at home and bag of rice, come and carry daughter Mario, give me, because we couldn't go to the market, things were tough, and we are at that level again. So we need to be conscious of the fact that it is in giving that we receive, and look at things that we can do. So coming back again, so that we don't waste time. I know a couple of people will join I'm a very voracious learner. It's just that I pack a lot of things full. So I'm interested in being a student of the sensei, here tonight, one. And I am also interested in you exploring the possibilities of coming in, for our program, and having a session, maybe talk time, come talk to people, address the crowd. I don't know what you want to do, but I'm sure JA can take that conversation with you. Thank you.
That would be absolutely fantastic, and whichever way I can serve, I would be more than happy to.
Thank you.
So we have really spent quality. We have invested time. We haven't spent time tonight. We have invested time in ourselves tonight, and I can guarantee you that it's been a very wonderful session. So special thanks to everyone that is out here tonight. And I don't know if there's anyone that is, like they say in church, worshiping with us for the very first time. Yes, with Sensei, we used to have Thursday night service, when when he used to have a Facebook group, and how he marvelously completely moved his business from Facebook into an email system like that. He has a record of 80 to 90%, if I'm correct, Sensei, 90% open rate of emails. Those are staggering results, you understand? And he marvelously moved that, session from Facebook, and like that. Every Thursday we used to gather to have Thursday night service. Everybody look forward to Thursday night service. So today too, funny enough, we also have Teach Me Thursday as part of our initiative.
Nice.
Where we come and
Sorry, Mr. Julius.
Yes.
I just wanted to, so mine is like a follow-up. How do we register? Is it going to be through you, or is it going to share the link? Because what's the
I'm going to send the link to Julius.
Okay.
All right. So the only thing that I would need to do is just basically brand it with Aftia. That's all. And then I'll just send it to Julius so that every other person could have access to it. Yeah.
So I'm actually talking about the membership one. Yeah, is that the same one you're talking about?
So
Yes.
for Tribecraft, yes,
Yes.
for Tribecraft. So like I said, I'm going to send quite a number of resources to you guys. Inside of there, you'll have the opportunity to buy Tribecraft if that is the decision that you want to. And then for those that want to work at a higher level with me, we can also have that conversation in there as well.
All right, then. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's all right. So is there anybody
So
worshiping with us for the first
international.
time?
Yes, so we have people acknowledging
Yeah.
there's
There's a
Shegun,
Shegun in the chat room.
Okay, Shegun. Thank you very
Justina.
much, Shegun James. Right?
Yes.
Shegun James is okay. We have
Justina.
Justina.
Justina is my personal person.
Oh, just thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Good
I
evening,
think this is our
Coach
second
John.
time in
Good
our
evening,
session.
everyone.
Okay, so this is Aptia, and Mr. Harrison, please, can we put the link if you are not yet a member of Aptia? So these are some of the things, fringe benefits you get from being a member of Aptia. And if you're not yet a member, the link will be there, and we take the conversation further from there, so that from here you get into the inner and the inner circle. Do you understand? So thank you very much for joining tonight. Aptia is a place to be. I can tell you that for free. Just before tonight's session, we had two people. We had screening session with two people. That's what we do. Just like Sensei mentioned, the toll gates, we have like a toll gates, just not anybody comes in here. We have a screening session that will profile you before you come into Aptia. So the membership link is there. When you register as a member, you go through screening. And if you don't qualify through the screening, of course, we will just give you back your money and say, well, maybe when you upgrade a bit or all that, even though we have categories at which you could come in and you can go through the rungs as well. So please do well to look at our membership form. The link is already in the chat box. Please just look at it. I'm saying Babatunde Joseph. Yeah, okay, thank you very much. So just look at the link and make a decision, right? And then we'll move forward from that. So this is where I'll bring tonight's session to a creamy close by leaving the closing remark to the president. And then from there, we can allow Semsi to leave us, and then we do our party after party.
Mr. Julius, you play music today.
You will play it on my behalf. That's why I love you.
I doubt if you will.
All right. So first and foremost, before we say thank you finally to our sensei tonight, Jab, we have someone who is almost like a Jab. We have Joseph Ayenitaju Babatunde.
Yes, Babatunde.
And the moment I saw Babatunde Joseph, I was like, oh, that seems like another Jab.
Another Jab.
So, yeah, I hope you can keep up to our in-house Jab. If you cannot keep up with him, well, you have a strong mark to match, So welcome everyone. Thank you very much for the people who've joined us tonight for the first time. We are really excited. Funny enough, they say how the day is going to be is determined by the morning. So just seeing the name, trying to find out a bit about him, and then seeing the way that we started the session tonight, it's been worth it every step of the way. I hope you enjoyed being with us. We are young, we are 4 years old, but we are very vibrant, and we always ask for more. We are Oliver Twist, but we also try to respect people's time. So Mr. Victor Bassey, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed us as much as we have enjoyed you. You can't see what is happening in our WhatsApp group. So Uzoma and I you can't see what's happening there. I was like, oh my God.
It's on fire.
I just love the way you deliver, the smile, the way you just, I'm very big on connecting with your audience, and Uzoma is very big on communication as well. So that kind of way that you have kind of if it is traditional, they go say you don't jazz us this night, you know.
That's why it's called tribe craft now. You don't see craft behind the tribe. There's a craft behind the tribe.
I tell you, these are the kind of things I see around people like Lisa Nichols, who I follow very closely, you know. So I want to say a big thank you to you.
President,
for
please allow me
out.
Yes, allow me to just say this to him as well, because we said it in the group and he didn't say it. So I think it's a feedback that that he would love.
Yes.
So when President says something about he likes the way he delivers and smiles, I responded and said, I also love the way you control your audience. That's big for me.
Right.
I loved it. Yes, I loved it. You know, I liked the way when somebody's audio wasn't muted. You said it like, as a matter of fact, it was as if it was part of your script. You said it on passing and moved on. For me, that was power. Like that was control. So I really loved
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for bringing that in. I mean, we just had to let you in. I think this is the first time we're telling anybody what is happening in the group, because as you're here,
no, say me another
this
joke.
guy don't dance also. Now just
if I bring something, it has to be fun. When I was telling you people thought I was joking. Okay.
Mr. Julius, now you have the bragging rights.
You know, I've always had bragging rights. I've always had bragging rights.
So I can guarantee you that you have converts, you know, from tonight, and I'm not easily converted. I have a strong background, so I'm not easily converted, you know. So for you to have converted me, and for Uzoma to be asking you questions tonight, and Jab and Dakwa, these are powerful, strong people that I know, and everyone that have listened, I can see names of, you know, Amazons and gladiators here.
He has initiated. We have entered.
You know, engineer Ifeanyi is on this session.
Engineer Ifeanyi is here. I've seen Engineer Ifeanyi too.
We don't enter court. We don't initiate all of us.
So I tell you, we are grateful. We are not able to financially appreciate you, but I'm sure that the team would send something across to just say thank you for your time with us. Like I said, we're taking this further, and I will definitely be in touch with you beyond now. Thank you very much for spending time with us.
Thank you too.
God bless you indeed.
All right then. Thank you.
Sensi, thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
All right then.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
We normally do party after party, so please.
I have to follow
let's
up very
release
well
it.
now.
All right then.
All right.
Thank you very
so
much. Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks a bunch. Thanks a bunch. Thanks.
All right, guys. I have delivered. This is first
Jab,
day.
3,000.
This is
How will you
family
make
meeting.
3,000 pounds per
Are you awake?
Can you stop recording?
Are you awake?
Because
Stop recording.
all the
Girl, please, can you
things
stop
that you have
recording
been
so that we can
bottling,
have
it's
a
time to
proper
talk now. Please stop recording. I want to be off record.